Hello everyone, and welcome to my bold and beautiful gossip channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Has your week been brave and beautiful? Did your resting bitch face spread to the rest of your body? Did you make choices as co-CEO while forgetting that you weren't? Did the final rose fall from your long-dead rose bush? This week, the Forrester Logan Spencer Finnegan Walton clan dealt with a variety of difficulties. Scoopers, be ready to spring forward and fall back. That appears to be what BNB is doing, introducing some new notions while backtracking and ignoring their own history, including recent history. Aside from Sheila's Halloween antics, it all revolved around the survival, or non-survival of hope for the future and Carter's abrupt decision to join Warren Buffett Forrester Creations. Are you ready to invest? Let's scoop about it. Brooke walked in on a half-naked Carter and Hope since there are no locks on any of the doors in the Forrester Creations compound, and no one gets horny unless they're on the clock. Brooke was understandably horrified, but she surprised me by asking, "What about Katie? What about hers? Love General Hospital, BNB, Days, or other soap operas?" Join the debate on our SC forums. Click here to interact with fans and participate in debates immediately. Carter and Katie have been visiting for months. And months. You mean, despite how close-knit the Logan sisters are and how much they like chatting, Brooke and Donna were unaware that Katie and Carter had friend-zoned one another? That didn't seem right, and it made Brooke's fury appear especially fake. Furthermore, Brooke should be more concerned about the freak flag-flying Hope. Since July 2023, the typically faithful Hope has lusted her way through Thomas, Finn, and Carter. Taylor, who is pro-Steffi, suggested that Hope was spiraling, which I believe has some merit. Something is certainly driving Hope's 180, and I wish BNB will look into it. Did Hope take a mental break? Did her continuous migraines influence her behavior? I speculated months ago that Hope could be acting out of the trauma she undoubtedly endured during the years Thomas gaslit her and pursued her. This would certainly explain Hope's homemade Stockholm syndrome of falling in love with her former tormentor. This would be the perfect explanation for Hope's recent behavior. How much richer might this narrative be if the show probed a little deeper? We also need to talk about all the commotion surrounding Forrester's Hope for the Future line. It's going fantastic. It's completely sucking. It is quite profitable. It's losing money faster than a person addicted to a Vegas slot machine. Frankly, Hope for the Future lost track of its own message years ago. We certainly heard about it when Hope launched the brand in 2010. Hope was a virgin at the time. Thus, she included themes of purity throughout the book. Furthermore, the main selling feature was sustainable textiles, not to mention goodness and light. If Hope hadn't outgrown all that lily whiteness 2 summers ago, she certainly has by now. Does HFTF even have a message anymore? Personally, I believe this line has outlived its usefulness, particularly as a story device. It is boring. I have to concede that it's unique for this show, at least, that Carter came up with the notion of forming a Forrester Creations umbrella and acquiring undervalued fashion firms to bring under it. Then there's the portion where stockholders and investment firms are involved. It beats wrangling over who will be CEO every few years. Ridge, Steffi, and Eric are correct that Forrester, with all its merits and shortcomings, is a family business. They didn't even require Brooke to sign a contract when she developed the belief formula in 1991. And should we address Brooke while we're at it? There have been numerous business discussions recently, including Carter's mergers and acquisitions plan and Ivy reviving the jewelry line, which is fine. Forrester is a business. There's one problem. Brooke is co-CEO. Everyone is acting as if Ridge is still sharing CEO duties with Steffi and hasn't just handed over the reins to Brooke a few months ago. Brooke isn't even attending these meetings. Wouldn't it add a lot of drama and conflict if Brooke was caught between supporting Carter's proposal because Hope believes in it and wanting to kill it because she agrees with Ridge on keeping things in the family, which these people do so well? Instead, we are pretending Brooke never received the promotion. Hello, BNB. If you need someone to keep track of your own narratives, I'm right here. Taylor was more active in these procedures, even though she does not work there. For the record, Taylor saw Grace again off-screen, and I believe Taylor's broken heart syndrome has improved after a nice weep and a pretzel snuggle with Rich. I didn't want Taylor to die, not even for real this time, but it was a cop-out to turn her heart failure into a psychosomatic ailment that she recovered from with a single non-medical treatment. I would have felt a lot of sympathy for Taylor if she had actually suffered heart failure, especially if the show had linked it to Taylor being shot through the heart, and you were to fault, in 2002. Her cardiac muscles suffered a significant harm. What a powerful story it could have been. Taylor is still over Ridge, despite the fact that their last official marriage ended 22 years ago. I'm sorry, but it makes Taylor appear exceedingly weak, and as strong as Rebecca Budig was on Guiding Light and One Life to Live, her performance in this part only adds to Taylor's simpiness. Get over it, Taylor. You broke a perfectly wonderful marriage with Whip in 2011, and you had boiling chemistry with Deacon 2 years before that. But you're still swooning over Ridge after decades. Physician, heal thyself. Steffi was furious, not that she isn't often angry. Might we rename this fuss budget Lucy Van Pelt? That Carter had surprised her with Ivy and Ivy's secret niece, Electra, whom everyone in the family knew. Outside of their sniping over Liam, Steffi and Ivy have had a turbulent relationship. Ivy blackmailed Steffi with a video of Steffi accidentally killing Allie, and Steffi electrocuted Ivy. Do you see what I did there? Even if Carter was unaware of or had forgotten about Steffi/Ivy's past, I can see why Steffi would be irritated to be put on the spot about getting Ivy back on the payroll. But can I just say that I'm deeply unhappy that B&B not only ignored its own family tree, but also created a new branch just to make Electra happen? Okay, Electra is Ivy's niece, okay. That means Electra's mother must be Ivy's sibling.
Ooh.
One sibling is coming up. 20 years before we knew there was an Ivy Forrester, there was a Jessica Forrester whose father was, surprise, Eric's brother. This dude became known as John over time, and we met him in 2014, not long after Ivy arrived. Ivy and Jessica's mothers were Claire and Maggie, respectively, but they are still sisters. Unfortunately, we never saw them together. Ever. Even though anyone who started watching after 1996 would be unfamiliar with Jessica, B&B took the opportunity to remind us of her when Ivy returned recently. Jessica was 17 in 1994, therefore even in actual time, she would be old enough to have a daughter Electra's age, albeit only just. Did we use this past to enrich Ivy's origins by implying her link to Jessica via both John and Electra?
Nah.
Though the show addressed John and his death, prompted by actor Fred Willard's own death in 2020, it bypassed Jessica and created a new sibling for both her and Ivy, a John Forrester, Jr. Why? Jessica was right there. Even if we weren't going to bring back original actress Maitland Ward to play her, there was no reason to invent another off-screen relative we'd probably never meet. Did I say bitterly disappointed?
I did?
So, I'm mentioning it again. But back to Lucy Van Pelt, Steffi Forrester. Carter told Steffi this week that she needed to get over herself, and if I could have gotten off the couch, I would have stood up and applauded. I am so sick of Steffi's bitchiness, nastiness, and controlling behavior. Yes, her namesake, Gangsta Granny, was all of these things, particularly in her final years. Unfortunately, Steffi is locked in this mode when she really shouldn't be. Steffi killed someone this year alone. Yes, in self-defense, even if it was Sugar rather than Sheila, and only 2 months earlier, she fainted from hunger and dehydration after being kept in a cage that happened to be located in a building that was due to be razed. These are both mind-altering experiences. Did Steffi feel humbled, or did she recognize that being alive afforded her the opportunity to change her life? No mas. Steffi had nearly returned to Battle-Axe State before Finn finished breaking her out of Luna's cage. I admire Steffi's feistiness, sarcasm, and strength. I enjoy Jacqueline McInnes, Wood's portrayal of her. But Steffi is constantly upset, and all she does is tell everyone what to do. Even Finn is completely exhausted. It's unsettling and portrays Steffi as entirely one-dimensional. I'm totally over it. Well, we knew it was coming. Steffi continually threatened to cut hope for the future if she ever saw Hope around Finn again. Carter was correct that Steffi shouldn't have used her role as co-CEO to chastise and intimidate Hope, but I digress. And, truthfully, Hope had no idea Finn was on his way over. But what drove Hope to put on a nightie in the hopes that Carter would be the next person to enter the design office? Again, Forrester Creations is a workplace. I understand that there are only so many sets and that these people have been on the job for over 4 decades, but this place is an HR nightmare. At the very least, go to the steam room as your mama did. Then there's Finn, who came to bring Steffi her misplaced tablet in the design office, rather than the CEO office, where Steffi truly works. Ask your doctor about the new once-a-day contrivance. That was an impressive reach, aligning all those stars so Steffi could catch a lingerie-clad Hope with Finn. Yeah, it was unavoidable, and as I already stated, eliminating HFTF is a form of compassion killing. Still, you'd think Hope would have come up with stronger justifications than that. It must have been critical to keep this insta-relationship with Carter a secret. Okay. It was cute to see Sheila go all out for Halloween, especially if she had no interest in the occasion before becoming associated with Deacon in 2021. I will admit that Deacon is quite hot. But seriously, Sheila? Toe cookies again? That was great at the Shaycon wedding, but if we aren't cautious, toe cookies will become the new lemon bars. Nobody needs sugar that severely. Carter, for his part, joined Hope in imploring Brooke not to say anything to anyone when Brooke almost found him with his pants down. Cope, harder, had to be kept secret. That did not deter Carter from heading down to Il Giardino and waxing poetry about Hope to, Hope's father. Carter practically gave himself away before his pizza order reached the kitchen. However, Carter has never been able to slow his pace with women, so at least that is consistent. Over at Forrester, Steffi was making the current object of Carter's affections walk of shame past models attending a birthday party while Charlie took him out of the building. Was the level of harshness necessary? And I thought the threat was just to cancel HFTF. When did removing Forrester of Hope become a part of it? You got it wrong, Steffi. Hope cannot be just another slut from the valley. She was born in Beverly Hills, just like you, Missy. Ridge went from having Steffi put words in his mouth, "I spoke to my father and he agrees," to agreeing that Hope should leave. But again, Ridge is no longer co-CEO. If Steffi needed to consult with anyone about this issue, it had to be Brooke, the real co-CEO. However, Brooke was nowhere to be found. Couldn't she hear Hope's protests as she left the office? "I am a Logan," Hope shouted back at Steffi. Proud to be a Logan, and that is something even your beloved grandmother Stephanie accepted in the end. Steffi, you're so cute. Not that Steffi needed to be informed of her grandmother's name, but what is a little exposition between rivals? Dare I say it, the Logans are a legitimate clan. Because, despite Steffi's claims to be a Forrester, she isn't. Yes, I'm bringing up an old topic again. But it is true. Steffi, and by extension, Phoebe, Thomas, and Ridge, were all identified as Maroons at the same time Morgan forced toddler Steffi to wear a red wig and call herself Stacy. Every time Steffi lords the Forrester name over anyone or everyone, I just want to 23 and me her ass. Ivy is more of a Forrester than Steffi will ever be. Just when I thought Il Giardino was the only restaurant in Los Angeles, Eric met Carter at an unknown cafe to discuss Carter's proposal to restructure Forrester into some sort of luxury brand. Isn't FC already a luxury brand? They have fashion shows, boutiques, and websites. It was an unusual step to have them gather somewhere other than the office, but it was a refreshing step nonetheless. Eric did not mince words. He found the entire thing frightening. His word. Even if Eric and the others wanted to assimilate smaller fashion houses and take on stockholders outside the family, Forrester would have to take out large loans to buy all of these companies, and with outsiders to answer to, they would have to give up the control they've had since the company's inception. Again, I find it intriguing that this perspective was put into this plot, even if I struggle to believe Carter spent years preparing it. But Carter had to know that no one would go for it. He has been there since 2013, and he understands how these folks are. And if Carter came up with all of this merely to keep HFTF afloat and get Hope into bed, that's a weak excuse to devise such a grand business plan. Eric, unsurprisingly, did not want to turn the privately owned company into a conglomerate, but Carter was interrupted by a text message and left. When he arrived at Forrester, Hope was waiting outside, wailing over being booted. At least Steffi did not have you hauled out in a garbage pail like Stephanie did to Brooke. Carter did not like it. No, sir. Pulling Hope into a hug, he looked at the building and declared, "You're not getting away with this." What bravery. But who exactly was Carter conveying that directive to? Steffi would be the obvious receiver, but may he possibly have been referring to Forrester in general, given Eric's recent decision to halt his major reorganization plans? Where do you think this is headed, Scoopers? Will Carter take Hope and start his own fashion house to compete with Forrester, as some speculate? Would you like to see Forrester gain a competitor again? Is Steffi's never-ending stream of venom becoming old? Did the show lose its nerve by providing Taylor a simple treatment for a psychological ailment rather than focusing on the heart failure story? Would you have preferred to see newbie Electra tied to a long-ago Forrester rather than another beginner? And do you believe there is something more to Hope's out-of-character behavior than we have been told? Discuss everything on the Soap Central discussion boards. I'm not sure what's going on with our soap right now or why, but I do know Luna will make an appearance next week. Who saw that coming, with the angelic intern turned psycho cooling down in prison? We're on the Carter train now, and we need to see where this is all going, so keep an eye out, stay attentive, and most importantly, be bold. Forrester Creations' high-traffic design workplace is well known for its sealed doors. However, this time, two persons made a significant mistake, resulting in fireworks on Halloween in Los Angeles, California. The bold and the beautiful spoilers. Carter Walton is in focus. Hope's goals were directed toward her new romantic interest, Carter Walton. She wasn't thinking about him, but he had been thinking about her since B&B's comeback shoot in Rome, Italy. Devoted viewers will recall that this drama has long appreciated employing gorgeous real-world venues for the numerous fashion events its characters have attended over the years. Last year, after the global health crisis had subsided, B&B traveled to Rome, Italy. Carter remembers the event, saying his concentration was on Hope. She and the audience were unaware that his feelings appeared to be developing during that time. Noelle's character enjoys Carter's heartfelt remarks and is willing to start a relationship with him. However, her mother is the only one who is aware of their growing relationship. B&B spoilers. Steffi Forrester Finnegan is certain. Steffi warned Hope, trying to get rid of her after discovering that she kissed Finn at the party hosted by Eric Forrester at the family mansion. But Wood's character was persuaded to control herself and give Hope a conditional second opportunity.